with people who are having their credit information, which isn't just credit information, right? Not just trade lines, not just accounts that are open and balances, but there's also public information like liens, lawsuits, criminal records, arrests. They've had that information used against them and they've lost job opportunities because of this. So GBLS really welcomes an opportunity to work with the City Council to promote and hopefully strengthen this ordinance. Mm-hmm. So just briefly, stress again what you have all already said, the problem this ordinance addresses is very real. According to a 2013 survey by a group called Demos, 1 in 10 low or middle income people who are unemployed say they've been told they would not be hired for a job because of information in their credit report. And 1 in 7 people with poor credit have been told the same thing. We all know as well that these credit checks disproportionately impact people of color. We have a 2007 study from Freddie Mac saying that 48% of those identifying as Black had bad credit scores, whereas it's 34% of Hispanics, 27% of whites. And just to add all this into context too, we need to remember that these checks are not always accurate. In fact, there's a lot of studies showing that they are devastatingly inaccurate. A series of FTC studies have found that around a quarter of credit reports have an error in them. Again, this is information that you folks know, especially when this is important, especially when we don't have any evidence that there's a linkage, as you said, between credit worthiness and job performance. And so just briefly to talk about a couple of client experiences we've had at GBLS, my supervisor, Nadine Cohen, spent years representing homeowners facing foreclosure. Many of her clients were deliberately targeted for high-cost credit products that left them not only without housing, but with devastated credit at the end of the day. One woman she represented was a Latina woman who was a factory worker with an 8th grade education. She was talked into a $500,000 loan and told to put her brother and sister on that loan. When she couldn't keep up with the payments, the company holding her loan attempted foreclosure. Now, my supervisor, Nadine, was able to help that client keep her home and get a loan modification, but eventually the factory where this woman worked closed, and she wasn't able to find another job because of her bad credit. And then, and again, stressing this difference between what we think of as true credit information and then public information. Just yesterday, I spoke to a client who was denied a job because information that didn't show up on his Corey report did show up on his credit report. So we need to be aware that, that at times these credit checks are being used as an end run around Corey reform, which is something that my colleague Nadine, I'm really sorry, my colleague Pauline will be talking about a bit more. So GBLS is very excited that the City Council is addressing these issues, and we welcome any opportunities to partner with you. And just now,
if you can stay with us, Matt, because we have a couple of questions. You raised an interesting point that hadn't been raised, which is about the inaccuracies.
Yes.
And in my situation, obviously fortunate to have good credit, but pretty common name. I'm Michael Flaherty. My father's Michael Flaherty. My son's Michael Flaherty. I have 2 cousins that are Michael Flaherty and 2 or 3 neighbors that are Michael Flaherty. And when refinancing my house, they all show up on my credit report. Fortunately, all those Michael Flahertys pay their bills in a timely manner, but the onus is now on the applicant, if you will, to have to go on the phone,